What's up, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Falcons in Focus podcast presented by Ticketmaster. I'm Scott Bair. That's Terrin, Waack. The man of the hour, Falcons wide receiver Shawn Jefferson, is joining us. And before we get into what are some pretty fun and interesting stories with Van, we have to tell you that as the official ticket marketplace of the Falcons and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Falcons at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. Download the Ticketmaster app or find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Falcons. That's Ticketmaster.com/Falcons. Now, Van, we're going to start by going back in time just a little bit. End of the Super Bowl. Good day for you.
Yeah.
There's a shot, I think NFL Films found it or something like that. But you're celebrating a victory. The Rams win the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Huge moment professionally. And then someone walks up to you with your kids in front of you, I think, and delivers some news. What news did they deliver to you in that moment?
Yeah, my wife was having a baby. And
like right then and there.
Right then and there. And so, she didn't want to tell me, so I just played the game. And, after the game, of course, I'm just filled with excitement, just winning the Super Bowl. But then, the lady comes out of nowhere and says, you're having a baby. And it's just like the ultimate, best feeling ever. Winning the Super Bowl and having a baby. So it was cool.
Did that give you whiplash?
Yeah, I was just like all over the place. I was just all over the place, just trying to keep my kids calm and me stay calm too as well. But it was a good moment for sure.
So was that the due date? Did you think that it might have been happening on the day?
Yeah, my wife kind of predicted it. She was kind of like, he's going to come on the Super Bowl. I was like, nah, he might need to come on the day after. But, ultimately he came on the Super Bowl and, it was like a lot of commotion. I had to get out of there really quick and I was stuck in traffic the whole time. But I was stuck in traffic. So I got there, he was already born, but, it's cool. It was good. It was good though to see him.
Yeah, there's an interview. You and your wife were on the Today Show, right? Kind of. And it's also her story, right?
You're right.
But to hear this, that she's in labor during the game, she doesn't want to tell you, and then you get the news and you rush over. Thinking it's kind of a lucky coincidence that you were playing for the Rams and the Super Bowl was in Los Angeles. Right. So everything was a little more comfortable.
Exactly. And I mean, the week before, we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and that game was crazy. It was just going back and forth and I was like, man, Tom Brady, fourth quarter mode, he came back and Leonard Fournette ended up scoring. So we're just like, oh, what's going to happen? And then last second play, Cooper Kupp catches a crazy catch in the back of the, to get us in field goal range. And then it was just crazy. And then the next week we played the 49ers and ended up winning and going to the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl being in L.A., it all just played out perfectly. It's like a movie. And, to have my son on that day and especially to win the Super Bowl, it was just an awesome feeling.
I love that your wife didn't want to tell you.
Yeah.
Nobody informed you mid-game. Hey, your child is her way.
You're right.
Did you know the gender ahead of time?
I did, yeah. So I knew it was a boy the whole time. And, of course, me being a dad and, I was excited to have a boy. But but it was a good moment, for everybody and my whole family.
Did you have a name picked out ahead of time and did you pivot because of the day?
So we kind of had a name picked out, but we really weren't sure if we were going to go that route. And then, after the Super Bowl, we still didn't know. And then just a couple of days later, my sister was like, hey, why don't you name him Champ? And so we're like, that's kind of fitting, kind of fitting, and that's how he kind of got the name. So shout out to my sister.
Did y'all ever have a conversation after the fact of why didn't you tell me?
Right, yes. But she was like, she just wanted me to focus. That was a big moment for me and the team. And so, I kind of wish she would have told me, because I knew where she was. And, it was just a whole big deal. She got brought out on a stretcher, and I was like, oh, my goodness, you didn't tell me all this, So, but it all ended up working out, and, I had a healthy baby, and my wife was okay.
Maybe it's a good thing she didn't. For, the logistics of getting out of there, but also knowing that she was taken out on a stretcher.
Right.
Having to, move her to a hospital and, all this crazy stuff.
Yeah. It was nerve-wracking. Yeah, definitely would have been.
More nerve-wracking.
Yeah, definitely was nerve-wracking. Yeah, exactly.
And then from a professional standpoint, right, to at a pretty young point in your NFL tenure, you get to the mountaintop, right? What was that experience like going through that Super Bowl run, to win that game. You're right. It was like a perfect day, right?
Yeah.
It's in Los Angeles. Everything works out. You had a really good year that year.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like? I'm sure that's something that you've been dreaming about your whole life, and then bang, it happened.
Yeah. Just that whole season was, it was a great season. But of course, it was ups and downs during the season. I think we went on like a 3-game losing streak, and we ended up just, coming together and, ultimately winning it all. But that season was just a lot of guys just coming together. We shared one common goal was to win the Super Bowl, and, that's what we did. And, to have that feeling, win the Super Bowl is like no other feeling, you can never experience. It's just, you're at an all-time high, and definitely want to experience that again. And it was just a great feeling to kind of win the Super Bowl and win it with my guys.
I just can't even fathom like
All this-
that and the baby all in
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of interest in the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you heard from a lot of. I think I read 3 or 4 different stories.
People magazine put out at least 10 URLs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you have a Super Bowl ring. Your dad, Shawn Jefferson, who I grew up in San Diego. Shawn Jefferson was a big Charger way back when, so I have a certain affinity for what Shawn Jefferson did. Also played wideout.
Yep.
And is a wide receivers coach, right?
Yes, sir.
Coached for a number of different teams. Now coaching the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
When this podcast is released, it will be Panthers week.
Yeah.
And now you've been on the other sideline before because you were with the Rams and he was with the Cardinals, right?
Yes, sir.
But what's that experience like? The guy that helped you so much when you were younger, he's now across the sidelines on enemy territory.
Yeah. A lot of trash talking during the week. I say that. But no, it's a great feeling, especially, my upbringing. He always told me, once I told him my goal of being an NFL football player, he set everything aside and just, focused on that goal, no matter how hard he was on me. And, he just wanted me to accomplish that goal. And so to have him, as a mentor, especially him doing it at a high level and me wanting to follow in his footsteps is a blessing. And, I remember playing in Arizona. I ended up scoring a touchdown against him that week, and then that was crazy. And they got his whole reaction on TV and stuff like that. But he's always excited. He had to kind of like play it for the camera, But it was a great feeling. It's always good to match up against my dad.
I feel like he would have more conflicting emotions than you in that moment.
Yeah, probably so. I mean,
Yes, but no.
yeah, exactly. He's on the opposing team, so he can't show too much emotion. But I think deep down inside, he's like, yeah, that's my son.
Did you give him the game ball in that one?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Like that's so awesome. And he was also a member of the Atlanta Falcons from 2000 to 2002, I think.
Yes.
So you were 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Are there any, now that you're with the Falcons and you're here, are there any like flashback memories of, oh, I was running around on this field or I've been here before? Like, do you have any memories from that time?
Yeah, definitely remember, being here and getting to go on the field with my dad, after the games and stuff like that. And, him wearing number 84. It was cool, cool moment. My dad always wanted me around the game. He always wanted me to, bring me around the guys. So it was a lot of times I was in the locker room just with my dad, just chilling. So just being back here and, him playing here too as well, it's great. So, when it happened, he was all excited and, he was just saying, I used to play there. So I was like, I know, Dad, I know. Yeah, I know. So it was cool.
What number was he?
He was 84. Yeah,
So we
84.
That tie there? Oh, there
Yeah, I know.
That would be inexpensive.
You're right.
But to have somebody in your family, in your house, right? I mean, he's hard on you, but you have like a path, right? That he did it, a certain way. You have somebody who you trust who can like speak the same language
Right.
as you. Like, how much of a benefit was that for you as you were growing up and becoming, a better?
Yeah, it was definitely a benefit to have. I just remember, everywhere we went, I was just around him. Just learning more about the game and seeing how pros work. And I got to see Calvin Johnson. I think he's a better receiver, in my opinion. And just see him, how he was a pro and other athletes that my dad has been around that I got to see. And, just learning the game and, just, trying to be around as much as I can and learn as much as I can. So he, in every shape, form, or fashion, he made sure I was a part of the game and, it benefited me a lot.
I don't know if this is true or not because internet, but I read somewhere that he was once you decided like this is my dream, it kind of like flipped a switch where he got tougher on you, where it's like I know what it takes, so I'm not gonna let off the gas because you're my son. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my dad. Yeah, my dad was definitely hard on me. At a young age, but it all worked out. And
Scoreboard.
right, it all worked out. So at the end of the day, I just thank him for being hard on me. And he got me to this point in my life, and I'm so grateful for him and thankful, that God placed him in my life. So at the end of the day, he was hard on me, but it all worked out.
What was it like balancing that in the moment, coach versus dad?
Yeah,
You're gonna have to do that maybe one day.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, you kind of take, he's dad, at home, but when it's coming to the games, I mean, high school, college, he's coach mode. You know what I'm saying? And he just wants the best for you. He just wants the best for me, and I just got to take it with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, he's my dad, and he just wants the best. So, when he's hard on me, you hear him, all right, I got you, Dad, and you just keep going. Yeah.
You can now brag with the Super Bowl ring.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You were first team All-State at, am I getting it right, Ravenwood High School?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yep.
So it seemed like pretty.
It worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what was your high school experience like? I mean, it's football crazy.
Yeah.
You probably have letters from big programs all over the place. Like, what was that experience like? I always find it interesting. You're 16, 17 years old. You're getting, come to Georgia, come to Kentucky, come to everywhere. Like, what's that experience like?
Yeah, it's a great experience. Something that you dream of. Something that of course, my mom and dad were excited because I got to go to school for free. But but it's a great feeling, especially having coaches come to your school and having legends come to your school, and that these schools want you. And my high school coach, William Hester, did a great job of managing that for me, and just being for me there in the moment, because it can get kind of chaotic a little bit, and especially with college recruiting, you got coaches coming to school every day, letters coming every day, people tugging on you and stuff like that. But it was a great experience, and ultimately I ended up choosing Ole Miss at first with Hugh Freeze, and then ultimately finished at Florida.
And finished at Florida with fellow Atlanta Falcon Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Do you have any good Kyle Pitts stories?
Man, we got a lot of stories in college for sure, but nah, he was just one of the guys. When he came in, we just kind of clicked. And I know he was going to be a talented player, and he obviously is a great player, and so we kind of clicked when he got there, and ever since then, our friendship just took off, and we've been best of friends since Florida.
Has that kind of eased the transition in here because you've got somebody in the locker room who you know and you trust, and I mean, you guys don't play the same spot, but at least kind of ease that in because you're coming in mid-season. It's a little bit of a different experience as you try to get used to all the routines and where things are and all that other type of stuff. Yeah,
it's definitely made it an easier transition. I was talking to him on the phone before, I got here, and, just telling me how things work and stuff like that. But, he made it easy for me. He had to drive me around a lot when I first got here. But, but other than that, though, he's been helping me out for sure.
I remember both of them were so excited because Kyle talked about you being here before your first interview. And he's just like, my boy's in town.
Yeah.
Got him back on my team.
Yeah.
And then it was very similar with you where it's like, he called me the day before.
Yeah.
And like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Reunited, and it felt so good.
Exactly.
So your full name, Vanshy LaShawn Jefferson Jr.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And you go by Van.
Yeah, I go by Van.
So
and your dad goes by Shawn, but same name, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there like a family tradition or something like that?
So my grandma just named it, and so she just told my mom, no, he has to be named after his dad. So my mom just had to ride with it because, at the end of the day, my dad's mom was not going for it. So at the end of the day, she just, so that my mom kind of got pressured into it, and that's how I came up with my name.
Isn't your son also named
Yep.
Banshee too?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that your grandma again?
Nah, that was me that time. That was me. I just wanted to carry on the tradition, of, having, he sees his dad playing in the NFL, then, he can see his grandpa, that played in the NFL too as well. So, just to have that name and to know that, somebody did it before him, just to carry that on. And, hopefully when he gets older, he can do the same.
Pressure's on, little one.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So what do you call him?
I call him V. I just call him V. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Keep switching it up.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right? Same name, but kind of like different versions of it.
Exactly.
I mean, being a dad now, like, how do you think, and like you had parents that were supportive and helped you achieve your dreams, right? Now that you're a dad, like what's the feeling, like for you now that you're on the other side of it?
Yeah, it's great having kids. I love my kids, and they're a joy every day, especially when you come home and you ring the doorbell and they're running up to you and you get to see them. It's like the best feeling in the world. But just me now being a father, and having the responsibility of my kids is kind of just doing the same thing kind of my dad did, but in a different way of parenting, and of course he taught me things, but I could put my own little spin on it too as well. So I'm just they're just so innocent, and at the end of the day it's just like I'm a dad, and it's a great feeling.
I want to circle back just a little bit, thinking of like your relationship with your dad, how he said he was hard on you but like helped you so much. Did you ever feel like pressured to kind of live up to his name in a national perspective? No,
not really. At the end of the day, whatever path I was going to take, whether it's football or whether it's anything else. But at the end of the day, I knew I wanted to play football, and wherever that path took me, it was just going to take me. So at the end of the day, I just trusted God in the situation, and ultimately I got here in the NFL, which is great, and but at the end of the day, I didn't feel any pressure to live up to what he did. I just wanted to, create a name for myself. Obviously we had the same name, but obviously, just put my own spin on it and, do something of my own.
And that'll be something I'm sure you'll carry on to your young ones.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. For sure.
So tell us your draft day story. You get taken in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2020, so that's
COVID.
It's COVID.
That's
year,
COVID.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit different.
Yeah, I know.
What was it like? Can you recall when your phone rings and it's, I don't know, what, a 213 or something?
Yeah. So it was crazy. I went to the Senior Bowl, performed there, and then getting ready for the combine. On Wednesday, like I'm doing a 40 sprints in the hallway. And then I get called down to the medical, and they say I got a Jones fracture in my foot and I can't participate. So I'm like, I'm sick. I'm like, oh man, I can't participate in the combine, And then I go up to New Jersey because at the time my dad was coaching for the Jets, and I'm just sitting there, just waiting for the call, and obviously I see, I don't know the exact area code, but yeah, I know. But I just hear Les Snead calling like, hey, you want to be a Ram? And it was just like the best day ever, and especially just being drafted into the NFL, a lifelong goal of, you had since you were a kid. Everybody was overcome with so much emotion. My mom, especially my dad, and it was just a great feeling to have my sisters there, my family there. It was just a great moment.
Because there's a lot of, we're talking about, first team All-State, going to an SEC school, and there's a lot of glamorous stuff, right?
Yeah.
But
it does mean more.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't get there without doing the work when nobody's watching. Right. Like the hard grinding work.
Yeah.
It's like all those times, right? Like doing what you need to do when you're not getting your picture taken.
Right.
Like, does that kind of validate all those days when maybe you're sacrificing, you're not going to parties when you could be, or that you're having to really focus on this dream that you have?
Yeah, 100%. It's days like that, and if you want to get to this level, you got to make sacrifices. And a lot of the guys that, I had on my team, we all shared the same goal. And we always took it upon ourselves to just, do the extra mile, go the extra mile. And Kyle was one of those guys. I just remember nights we would just go to the facility and just run routes or just catch on the jugs, just simple things like that. If you want to, do something in life, you gotta work hard at it. So that's something that my dad instilled in me, and especially at Florida, they instill that to you as well, and that culture. So, but it just all that, when that phone call happened, just felt like everything was paying off.
You transferred, right?
Yes, I did.
Was that difficult? And did it make it seem like perhaps the goal, the dream, was further away when you made that decision?
Yeah, of course. I didn't have any plans on transferring when I got to Ole Miss, but Hugh Freeze ended up, not being the coach anymore, and me and him had a great relationship. So I just feel like it was just a new time for a new stage, and you have your doubts like, man, I got to transfer. And at that time, you didn't have the transfer portal, so it wasn't, it wasn't immediately you get to play. You might have to sit out a year. So I had to go through this whole long process of me trying to get eligible to play that next season, which, by the grace of God, I got the opportunity to do. But, it was definitely tough, especially, I had some great friends on the team that, I didn't want to leave. But at the end of the day, you know, you got to make a business decision for Van. And so that's what I did, and ultimately it worked out for me. And met some great dudes that I'm best friends with to this day, and, you know, we had some great seasons there.
What were those conversations like with your dad? Because more old school, didn't really transfer around and whatnot, and like now it's even more common. So it's like you're in that middle ground between very often and then not at all.
Yeah, you know, when I first came to him about it, he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I feel like this is something I'm going to make for myself." And he was like, "Okay, if you feel that way, you know, then go for it." And you know, my dad is transparent with me. He'll be honest with me and tell me, you know, when I'm lacking, or you know, when I'm doing good or when I'm doing bad. And I feel like, you know, I need that, you know, because, you know, that's what he's supposed to do. And, you know, we had a great conversation about it, and ultimately I ended up making that decision. And like I said, it ended up working out for me.
Like, I'm a big kid now.
Right, exactly.
Is playing football still fun to you? I mean, like, so much of it is business, right? And, you know, all these different things that go on around it and all the hard work, but this is your job now. But do you still feel like a 14-year-old kid?
Yeah, definitely still feel like a, you know, 14-year-old kid. Obviously now, the difference between 14 and now is that, you know, it's money involved and stuff like that, you know. But other than that, man, it's fun, you know. Football is fun, you know. Obviously, the fun day is Sunday, and that's the day you get to, you know, show all the work that you put in during practice. But other than that, man, football is just fun. You know, it's going to be fun for, you know, of course you got different aspects of it when you go from high school to college, you know, to the NFL. It's different aspects of the game, but at the end of the day, football is football. And you just got to enjoy it, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, you get to wake up and do something that you love to do. And, you know, God has blessed you with the opportunity. So just have fun, you know, no matter where the chips may fall, at the end of the day, you know, just go out there and play.
I love it.
Yeah.
Soon enough, that money is going to be toward the 14-year-olds.
Right, right, exactly.
17, 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Gracious. Okay, at this point in the podcast, we do something called rapid fire. It's not really all that rapid necessarily,
Okay.
But everybody gets the same 5 questions.
Okay,
You're on the hot seat. Van, are you ready?
ready.
Yeah. Can I hype this up anymore? Okay, what is your favorite play of your career at any level?
Playing against Arizona, caught like I think a 50-yard touchdown against my dad. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what? People who sit in that seat, they know their favorite play like immediately.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
It's like total recall. Right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely wild. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh, where is that game ball now? Is it like
It's in my
display?
it's in my dad's on display. Yep, it's like he has it in the case. Yep.
That is fantastic. Who's your favorite athlete, or who was your favorite athlete regardless of sport?
Favorite athlete,
When you were growing up.
Kobe Bryant. Yep, Kobe Bryant.
Is
Not
that
a football player.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a football player, but you know, you hear a lot about that, like the Mamba mentality, and
Yeah.
it seems like he's influenced almost like a whole generation of athletes too.
Yeah, he has.
What was it like watching him kind of growing up and seeing? I mean, talk about a grinder.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
grinder.
you know, of course people have the debate, you know, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, you know, but, you know, yeah, just the way they play the game, the way that, you know, you hear him talk about the game, how passionate he was, how much hard work he put into the game. You know, it's just amazing to see how all that, you know, translated to the court. And when he went out there, you could just tell, you know, that he was just locked in to, you know, to his plan and what he had to do. And, you know, obviously, you know, he's one of the best of all time, and, you know, and it shows.
I know where his vote goes in that debate.
Yeah, facts, yeah.
I'm old enough that MJ, if you're in your late 30s or early 40s, it's like automatically Jordan.
Yeah.
And then you just yell back and forth. Okay, next one.
Are you watching a show or movie right now that you recommend to people?
Show or movie? I'm not watching it right now, but a show called Snowfall. Everybody probably knows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my best shows that I like. You never seen it?
No.
Go watch it.
What's it on?
It was on FX.
Yeah,
I
FX.
think you can find it on Hulu now.
Yeah.
I'm on
Yeah.
season 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
So
What
good.
genre is it?
It's like action. You could say action, suspense.
Crime,
Yeah.
suspense, all that fun
Yeah.
On NCIS.
Yeah.
Pick.
Okay.
stuff. Let's see. Whether it's homemade or from a restaurant or whatever, like what's like your like desert island meal? Like what's
Desert Island Meal. Can my mom cooks like
My mom.
yeah. My mom cooks I think my favorite one when I go home, I just ask her to cook like pork chops and rice.
really?
Yeah, that's the best meal.
The perfect.
That's the perfect meal.
Right?
Yep, knows how to make it spot on. So that's kind of my go-to meal when I go back home and see moms.
At home, you're like, I want that.
Yep.
Okay, last one.
If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
Superpower, probably read people's minds. See what they think. Yeah. Read people's minds, see what they think. Yeah. Read people's minds, see what people think. That'd probably be my superpower for sure.
And then you go up pre-snap and you can be like, well, that guy's going to play his own
Right.
way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah.
And this is going to be easy. Well, awesome. Van, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Falcons in Focus podcast presented by Ticketmaster. Please do what you do. Rate, review, and subscribe to the Atlanta Falcons Podcast Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Why Doja. And we will be back again next week with another awesome guest. See ya.